Sup guys, and welcome to the Drizzle Reads. Halo, Ponies, and Clouded Past. Okay, look, this is for Brandon, and I know this is late. I saw your birthday on Skype, and I was just like, hey, let me do this for you. So by the time you get this, it'll be way too late. I am sick of reading pony-related stuff. I kid you not, I am sick of it. So, without further ado, let us get into this. Chapter 1, Fall from Dreams. Now keep in mind, the first sentence I struggled on, so this is going to be a little hard for me, so back a brother up. John shouldered a large boy aside, his legs burning as he struggled to climb to the hill. Although it wasn't too steep, it was still a long climb. The summer sun blazing overhead, John squinted, trying to see who was holding the top of the mound. The current king of the hill was wrestling with two boys, completely oblivious to John. Grinning deviously, John flew forward in a burst of energy, ramming straight into the ex-king's back, giving a powerful shove into the two boys. They all tumbled down the slope, shouting obscenities and curses through the crowded schoolyard. Wow, right on. Forcing his burning quads to push forward, John surmounted the hill, bellowing a cry of victory. The other children shouted their disapproval, advancing up the top with the renewed vigor. Don't ask. However, their game was cut short. "John!" came the voice. John froze, looking around to see the source, and then he spotted them. Standing at the schoolyard entrance were two adults, a man and a woman. The man was tall, neat gentleman, fitting with a pipe. The woman wore a small summer hat and a pair of eyeglasses. She also was staring straight at him. She obviously had been the source of the voice. "Yes, you. May we talk?" Okay, that was horrible. Let me try that again. "Yes, you. May we talk?" Better. She asked, knowing refusal meant a beating. John struggled, stepping off the mound. A few kids blew raspberries as he passed. What is that? What does that mean? They assumed their game, excited now that the best of the opponents had left. John strode up to the two adults. Chin held high, he didn't care if they were going to beat him. Most of the teachers that beat him nowadays were used to the task and took it as a chore rather than a honorable duty. John failed to see what was honorable about it, though. "I give props to you, man. You turn numb after a bit." The woman glanced back at the hill. "So, John, I see you like to play games," she said, kneeling down to meet his gaze. John nodded. "Yeah, I like to win," he said simply. The woman laughed, confusing John. "I saw," she replied, still chuckling. Her hand fell into her pocket as she withdrew a shiny coin. It was an ordinary coin, from what John could tell. "How about we play a game of our own?" she asked innocently. John shrugged. "Sure, I'm not gonna win anyways." This drew another laugh from the woman. "Okay, take a look at the coin." The woman handed him the quarter, which he turned over and over. On one side there was a man wearing a powdered wig, his silver features chiseled into the frown of sorts. Below the neck there was a number, 1983. On the other side there was an eagle, wings outspread, clutched in its claws a bundle of arrows, and below that an olive branch. The side with the man's face is heads, and the side with the bird is is Eagle. What? The woman explained. I'm going to toss the coin into the air, and then you need to catch it. You call out which side you think will appear face up in your palm. If you're correct, you win. John's eyes narrowed. What do I get when I win? He asked. You get to keep the coin, the woman said, smiling. No catches. Might as well go for it. Okay, flip it, John said. Oh my goodness, you are so stupid. What about if you lose? Okay, he handed the coin back to her, which she promptly placed on the top of her thumb and flicked it upwards, sending the coin flying into the air with a melodic ching. Of the metal scraping her thumb. John caught it deftly, immediately calling out his winning assumption. Eagle, he stated, opening his palm. The eagle gave him a fierce scowl, as if unhappy that John emerged victorious. John grinned at the woman. Told ya I'd win, he teased. She smiled in return. You are one lucky kid, she complimented, adjusting her eyeglasses. She extended her hand. My name is Dr. Hasley. It was nice meeting you. Immediately, the lazy summer's day faded, the doctor and the tall man disappearing. An explosion sent John sprawling into the ground, pressing an armored hand to the ground. John struggled to his feet, instinctively drawing his assault rifle. When did he get a gun? He brought it to bear, quickly scanning the area. A telltale whine of incoming artillery filled the air around him. Instinct taking over, John sprinted towards an overturned warthog, balanced precariously on a bed of rocks. The whine grew louder, filling the speakers in his helmet. Abandoning the weapon, he dove under the safety of the damaged vehicle, covering his head. A blinding flash followed, as well as a powerful shockwave that blew the warthog off the crouching Spartan. Glancing back at the once operable vehicle, John's head swiveled back to search for the explosion. His jaw dropped at what he saw. Standing before him was a grizzled, older-looking sergeant. He chewed a rapidly disappearing cigar and wore a cap dyed in the classic green of the Marines. A bushy mustache wriggled as he moved his upper The UNSC insignia was emblazoned on the front of his chest plate. Sergeant Johnson. Chief, what are you doing here? Johnson asked, lowering the jackhammer launcher he was carrying. John hopped over the rocky outcropping, glad to see a familiar face. I had better ask you the same thing, Johnson. Johnson cocked his head. What are you getting at, Chief? You know that's classified information, he asked cautiously. John blinked. You're dead. I watched you die on the Ark. Shot through the chest by 343 Guilty Spark. There's no way you're alive, he stated. Johnson twitched in a strange way, his head tilting at an awkward angle. Johnson raised an eyebrow. Are you... A sudden blow from the sergeant sent the chief crashing into the rocky outcropping. The sergeant's right arm exploded, 2 large tentacles in place of where his hand should have been. With inhuman speed, the sergeant dashed forward, viciously slamming his left arm into the chief's neck. Caught completely off guard, the chief dropped his weapon and his hands groping helplessly at the sergeant's arm. John's head lolled to the side, an infection formed, materializing in his now open chest cavity. John flailed and kicked wildly in an attempt to loosen the grip, but to no avail. The ever-tightening grip encroached on his trachea, making every breath a marathon. A sudden feeling of mercury entering his consciousness. How do you feel mercury? made him jump involuntarily. "Chief!" A voice identical to Dr. Hasley's rang inside Chief's helmet. "Cortana?" he wheezed. "Chief, you've got to wake up," she cried desperately. "What?" John rasped, still struggling for air. "The forward unto dawn. She's being sucked into a planetary gravitational well," she explained quickly. Well, I didn't explain it very quickly. "I don't get," the chief started before his body convulsed in electrocution. I think this is next scene. So next scene. "Chief, you gotta wake up," Cortana cried desperately. The chief didn't respond, stirring slightly in his cryogenic slumber. "The forward unto dawn. She's being sucked into a planetary oh my goodness. She's being sucked into a planetary gravitational well," she explained quickly. Tongue twister there. When the chief still refused to respond, she groaned mentally. Time for plan B. She flipped a switch, sending a quick jolt into MJOLNIR power supply. The sudden overflow of energy sent a backlash of electricity coursing throughout the chief's body, jolting him awake. "Ah! What the?" John cried, kicking the cryotube's single door into the opposing wall in surprise. "Chief, you might want to find somewhere to hunker down. The forward unto dawn is heading straight for the dark side of the planet," Cortana advised sternly. Okay. I'm just going to be real right now. I don't know anything about Halo. That's probably going to cause half of you to stop reading and listening. Quickly glancing around, John stepped cautiously out of the Cryo-tube, struggling to climb the constantly rotating corridor. John managed to claw his way onto a large opening in the titanium A metal. He risked a glance into... I can't do it! He risked a glance into space, taking in the sight. A green planet stretched below, a large ocean visible on its surface. It looked identical to Reach, except of all the familiar continents were in different places. A large sun was setting on the horizon, like a large pat of butter melting onto a hill of pancakes. However, the sun was quickly blotted out by the planet itself, sending John into total darkness. The only light coming from the hole as it began to glow, heating up the planet's atmosphere. A sudden collision bucked John out of the forward unto dawn. What does this word mean? What does that phrase mean? Forward unto dawn. Okay. Levitating in the frightening weightlessness of freefall, John scrabbled. Okay. John scrabbled at the shredded titanium, hoping to find some reprieve. A small rod of steel jutting out from the hull was his last chance. Clawing madly towards the rod, he managed to get a decent grip on the edge. A loud screeching noise of metal on unused, eventually ending with a loud thunk, as the metal ripped off hull entirely as the dawn began to accelerate towards the surface at an alarming speed. "Chief!" Cortana cried. John reached helplessly, because I don't know what haplessly, maybe that's a word, haplessly for the accelerating craft, only to be smacked upside the head with the same rod which had separated from the hull seconds earlier. Seeing stars dance before his eyes, he watched helplessly as the craft flew onwards, embedding itself in a distant desert near the horizon. His descent, however, continued straight down, aiming towards a thick forest below. A heat cone quickly formed as he accelerated planet-side. Reacting quickly, John hit the armor lock failsafe. Needles pricked at his arms and his legs at the gel layer in his armor, rapidly expanding and cutting off circulation in his extremities. He had only seconds to brace himself before smashing into the ground. Next scene, I'm assuming. Ambient? Okay. Smoothing out the edges of the blanket, Twilight called, "Oh my goodness." What? Twilight called to Binky. "Okay. You can bring out the snacks. The tablecloth is ready." Oh wait, this is Twilight then. "Okay. You can bring out the snacks. The tablecloth is ready. Yeah, I'm a nerd." A familiar pink pony trotted out, toting a large saddlebag chock full of hoof food. Okay. Cupcakes, sliced pound cake, assorted fruit tarts clattered haphazardly on their separate plates as they settled onto the tablecloth. "Okie dokie dokie. All done." Let's try that again. "Okie dokie dokie. All done." Pinky chimed cheerily. Rarity set down her small basket of alfalfa on rye sandwiches, wiping her brow. "Oh goodness, carrying this basket around has got me worked up. Spike, can you be a dear and bring me a glass of punch?" Don't know anyone who sounds like that. Okay. A purple dragon, toting a pitcher and paper cups, waddled out to meet her. "I don't know about punch, but Fluttershy gave me a pitcher of water carrying from her cottage," Spike exclaimed, pouring Rarity a glass before letting her magic take it from his clothes. "Water is perfect, Spike, you like it?" "Ew," Rarity exclaimed, nuzzling Spike with her muzzle before taking an elegant sip. Spike rubbed his cheek, blushing furiously. "Anytime, Rarity," he said, wistfully wobbling off towards Fluttershy's cottage. Twilight sighed with satisfaction. The hot summer day had cooled off after the sun had set, making the temperature perfect for a bit of a late-night picnicking. Although Rainbow Dash had yet to bring the punch, Twilight felt that she would have to fly much slower to keep the punch in her container. "You should slow down, Speed Racer." Applejack settled on the checkered tablecloth, dropping her load of different apple-intertwined foods before sitting back to gaze at the night sky. "Gosh, Twi, I'm glad you thought of this. It's warmer than a hamperful of bed sheets out there," she said. Twilight smiled. "Well, thanks for agreeing to bring a sampler of your latest apple cuisine," she replied. "I've been waiting to try this new mountain high apple pie everyone's been talking about." Applejack grinned. "Big Mac will be bringing that over in a jiffy. Let's just say it lives up to its name." A flicker of light caught Twilight's eye as she turned to look at the farm pony. Distracted, she looked up, her eyes lighting up in surprise. A beautiful array of starry streaks filled the sky, dazzling the young mares. "Ooh!" and ahs accompanied the sudden flurry of activity, although they immediately stopped when a large meteor appeared in the sky alongside the falling debris. "In Celestia's name," she breathed. What does that mean? They all jumped in fright when a second the meteor slammed into the Everfree forest near Fluttershy's cottage. "What was that?" Fluttershy squeaked, peeking out from behind Twilight. The lavender unicorn gritted her teeth. "Whatever it was, we gotta take a look. Come on." Twilight charged into the foliage, dragging a hapless Fluttershy by her tail. Oops, I think that was the wrong voice. The rest of the ponies followed. Spike emerged from the cottage, toting a plate of carrots. "Hey, look what I found in the—" He trailed off, looking around the empty tablecloth. Guys?" he asked hesitantly. Okay, what was that? I could not keep... Okay, so I'm just gonna assume that this is from Halo perspective. I don't know anything about Halo, so get mad, get glad, whatever. And then this guy falling into this well or something causing this well to appear. I don't even remember. and then falling, and then now he's in this equestria place or whatever, and now they're going to check it out, I guess. It was much easier to read towards the end. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, happy birthday, Brand, if you ever get this, which is really late. So I'm telling you, it's going to be late, like probably months late. But yeah, I don't know what else I can think of this story. This story is just pretty. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this bit. This does have more parts, so I think it's complete or incomplete. I don't remember. But there's more parts to this, so if you guys want me to read it, just let me know. You know who you are. If you know me well enough, you can let me know. So a brother can let another brother know, or whatever. Something like that. Pretty much it. I mean, I don't know what else. I'm really confused because I don't know much about Halo. So, it's just weird. So be sure to check it out. Read alongside in the description, which of course makes the most sense. And that is it for this bit. Check out the other videos and readings that I've done before on my channel and everything else. And then the drizzle will see you guys later. Bye bye.